to know about Tracy because he's kind of a crazy man and builds bikes like no other. Okay, so we're going to be answering questions today because everybody kind of intrigued with this guy because he's like an endless ball of energy. Right, so I'll just start off with this first one.
There you go.
This was a very mysterious text that came in on my phone. I don't know who it is, and I didn't take the time to look.
Make sure it's easy.
Well, it's easy, and it kind of fits what we're going for in this episode. So, and we've got a call. So I think we're going to take the call. Because it's from a friend of ours.
That's right. Take the call.
So here we go.
Here we go. Terry.
Here we go. Who is this?
Hi, it's Terry.
It's Terry. So, do you have a question?
I do. Well, I have two. One, I need to know how is my sweet blue bike doing?
Good. It is absolutely wonderful. It's 71 degrees right now, tucked in.
All right, good. That's super important.
Yeah.
71 degrees, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, my other somewhat real question is, Tracy, when I was in to visit with you last week in the shop, it looks amazing and it's so beautiful and busy and it's like full of life and it's really cool. And anybody that hasn't been there needs to go there.
Nice.
But why are we slacking so much on the mini bike the build off? It looks like we're up to a good start.
We are. We got off to a good start, and then we sort of slowed down. And I really think a lot of that stems from I've got to keep him going. I don't want well, that's Tyler. Because I'm telling Terry the honest truth here. I'm not going to cut back or I'm not going to hold back. This is tell all. Okay. This is Friday tell all. And what happened, Terry, was that I got off to a really quick start and a good start, and then all of a sudden, if you notice, my competitor didn't do anything, okay? And really, and then I kind of said, you know, where's his stuff? I don't see anything from him. Then he comes up with this so-called fuel tank, okay? Which doesn't even resemble a fuel tank, but whatever. And so I get going, all right? And then all of a sudden I turn back around to see where he's at, and not only that, he's back there and he's wiping tears from his cheek, Terry. He's teared up, man. And I'm telling you, the guy starts to break down and cry on me. And I said, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? You sick? He said, no, I can't keep up with you. There's no reason for me to even try. And I said, well, there you have it. Are you waving the red or the white towel now? And he said, well, I'm getting pretty close. So, see, Tyler's got feelings, and I got to watch him, and I don't want to hurt his feelings, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's the reason why I started to slow back down to his speed. Now, I know my dad taught me when I was young that don't bring yourself to be at the other people's level, okay? You need to be raising the bar the entire time you're alive. So, but in this situation with Tyler, I got to watch what I'm doing with him because, you know, at the end of the day, he does work here and does do a good job. So, that was the reason. I hope that answers your question. I know it was a long, roundabout answer, but basically, it's just I was hurting Tyler's feelings.
That makes perfect sense.
All right. Thanks for calling to harass these guys. We appreciate it.
You bet. You guys have a great day.
All right.
The show was awesome.
Talk to you later.
Take care.
Bye.
All
right. So we have another question, and I started out with this. So this mysteriously appeared in my feed, and again, it just came from a number, so I need to research who it's from. It says, how is it that you can work at warp speed at the age of almost 60?
You know what? It's called good, clean living, okay? So I don't drink, I don't smoke, all right? And I eat Frosted Flakes for breakfast. I'm telling you, Frosted Flakes is where it's at.
That's a lot of sugar. I think it's just saying it's sugar, but
it's sugar high.
I think it's hereditary.
Right, same way.
That's my thing. So,
yep.
All right. So the next question came in from Sammy Lee.
Nice.
Yes, he's from California, great friend, and he is a
Great guy, by the way.
He is a client of ours. His bike is in the work. Tell everybody about his bike while I find the
Yeah,
question.
so Sammy has a 68 Z50 KO with us. It's currently in paint. Pretty special build. I'll have to let him tell you, but the engine from the frame numbers are very, 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 very close.
Whoa.
I'll tell you that. So this is going to be a pretty special build, due to be completed sometime here into January, 1st of February, and it is coming along quite nicely, I might add.
Okay, all right, so here's one of his questions. Are you painting the bike frames / tanks, or is it powder coat?
We paint. Yeah, everything we paint. The only thing that we do as far as powder coat here at Lil Bikes is that we do the foot pegs on the CT70, we powder coat them, and then we also typically powder coat the air breather on the CT70, and then the frame on a soft tail Z50, the 72 or the K3 through 78. We do that frame and powder coat that as well.
Okay, are all of your bike finishes, oh, I read that wrong. All of your bike finishes are awesome, and I know that especially getting the flake in the metallic bikes is quite a specialty and not easy to do. Do we do that? We don't do flakes.
No, there's really no
We
flakes in
did
it.
do
There's
a
some-
flake on that pink bike.
Yeah, that was a custom paint
Yeah.
job in Sarasota, Florida.
But most of ours it's candy, right?
Right.
Candy
Yep,
paint.
mainly candy.
Tell them about candy.
Yeah, so candy is a 4-step process that we do, and you basically have a primer coat, and then you have a base coat, and then you do the candy, and then you have a clear coat. So kind of 4-step process. Now, one thing I would call it a negative about candy paints is if you were to get a scratch or it were to be scratched up in any way, it's hard to touch up just a spot on the candy. That's maybe a negative about it. But
Yeah.
for the most part, it's really pretty.
Well, you know what I like about candy paint and being a furniture painter, we don't always get this, is the dimension of the candy paint. Like when you look into it, you almost can see depth because of the layers.
Yeah.
And I dig that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's cool. So when the bikes come in from the paint booth, all those colors coming in all at once on all the bikes, that's impressive.
Nice.
I like
Yep,
that.
for sure.
Yes. When you first started with Little Bikes, was it solely Mini Trail 50s, CT70s, and SL70s?
No, so when we started, we actually started off and just did the CT70 and Z50 hardtails. We didn't do the soft tails until later on, about 6 months into it. We started and we added the line of the soft tails, the K3 through 78, and then on the 72s, or excuse me, the CT70s, basically really as high as we go is 1972. We just do the KO and the K1 and the CT line. And then the Z50s, we still do more hardtails than anything, the 68 through 71. Now, I will say this, in January of 2020, we introduced the SL70, and it has been a really big hit. So in January, we started doing those. And I suppose up to date, we've done probably 35, 36 bikes since January, just of the SLs. So we've come a long way with those. Started off with the Yamaha GT80 that I started off with in that winter project at the house in the garage.
When it was a hobby before I kicked him out.
Yeah.
So
She didn't like the smell.
No, it was awful. So
Yeah.
why'd you switch?
Well, because if you'll find out the Honda world, there is a lot more followers in the Honda stuff than more so the Yamaha or Kawasaki. Nothing against Kawasaki's
You're gonna
or
get
the
some
Yamahas,
bad feedback
but
about
there's
that
a
one.
lot more followers in the Honda world. So to do it full time and to do it commercially, we definitely had to have the numbers.
And he also wants to know if you're considering expanding to the XR75s.
Yeah, I think probably what we'll do sometime probably not the first quarter of 21, but somewhere mid of 21, we're going to take a look, and that question's come up now twice, that we do an XR. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just need to do some more research about it, and so we'll probably take a look at that. Probably, I would say second quarter 21.
Okay.
We are going to stay focused on what we do the best,
Yes.
and try to perfect that. We try to do a good job, but there's always room for improvement. We're always striving to be better, and I feel like that we just need to stay kind of specialty right within our wheelhouse.
So Dan McGrandy.
Oh, nice.
Yes. All right, so he said he wants to be called long-time listener, first-time caller,
All right.
because he watches the Bob and Tom show. Okay, so the next one, Dan says, how many of the original parts are reused on a resto?
Yeah.
Fender shocks, etc.
Yes, so definitely the shocks are reused. A lot of times we'll have the fenders, if the guy wants those re-chromed, although in today's society we can still get the Honda fenders, so we still currently use those. And basically when you break it down into percentages, I would say less than 5% aftermarket is used on the bike.
Why?
You can actually, the handlebars are probably the hardest to come up with original. We have chromed them, very few pair that we've ever seen that we could save. So they don't make the handlebars anymore. Honda doesn't, so they're aftermarket. But as far as what's a good thing to get, the skid plates, we still re-chrome those. Tail lights, we still re-chrome those. Another thing that's hard for us to find is a good seat pan. The CT70 seat pan, because everybody wants to lift it up to the seat, and that seems to ruin it first thing out. So I bet within the first 5 years, come along 1975, I bet over 50% of the CT70s had a ruined seat pan on them.
What about nuts and bolts and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
so what we use on the nuts and bolts, the bolts are still reproduced nowadays. Honda still does that. They come in a Honda package. So they've got the right logo on each nut, and so we still use those as well. But a lot of the nuts and bolts, we definitely here, we take off, and then they get in a media blaster and tumbled, and then we ship them off to Wisconsin and have them re-zinked with a clear re-zinc, and then they come back and they're reused. So a lot of those are still good.
What about the Speedo parts?
Speedo, all those parts we still use. We take it apart, refurbish it, put it back together, and so it looks brand new when we're done. Back to 0 miles.
Okay, here's another one from Dan McGrandy. Let's see here. Is there a model year for the 70 that is more desirable / valuable?
Yeah, for sure. Without any doubt, the 1970 HKO is by far the more desirable bike out there. And the reason they were a little more rare, they made more 3 speeds than they did 4 speeds. And then also, when you look at that, everybody wants the first year. That was a big year for Honda when they come out. So if there's anything that we definitely get here, probably without a doubt, it would be the HKO would be the most popular.
And it's the most valuable.
Most valuable as well. Yep. For
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. And what made Tracy get into doing this work?
Yeah, because I was a golf professional and here in Indiana, and I moved up here from Hilton Head, and so what happened, I couldn't work in the winter, so I just started tinkering with these Yamahas in my garage, and I've always enjoyed working with my hands. I've always enjoyed taking something that didn't look like much and making it look like something. So I've always been intrigued about that. I've just liked doing it. And so this fits right in my wheelhouse, to be able to restore something, to make it look beautiful. And it's very satisfying to me to just take something that's 50 years old, make it look brand new again. Love it. Yeah, so we come and moved out of the garage, and actually we went to a storage unit. And at that point, I had a partner with me by the name of Alan, And so he and I were working out of the storage unit. That didn't last very long because, as you all know, there's no electricity. So that didn't last very long. And we come and we were in Zionsville and moved down or come down here to Brownsburg and met up with the great people here at the Bill Simpson complex and become very good friends with him. He's passed away now, but anyway, we rent space from him in the commercial center. And then since then, we've rented more space and keep getting bigger centers. But anyway, it's become a place that we call home. We're very blessed here to have great people surrounding us and that are actually fabricators, machinists, mechanics, and there's machine shops that can do all our cylinders and so forth. So this area is surrounded by, it's in of course, we call it the race capital of the world, but there's more funny car teams here per capita than anywhere in the United States. So yeah, there's a lot of great talented people in this area. Thank you guys so much for being on here today. Really fun, and thanks again for letting me build your bikes. I really appreciate that.